Going on, Kids Zone leaders? Wanted to share a couple things with you for this coming week. First of all, I want to take a look back over the last 2 weeks, starting with the Easter egg hunt weekend. We had an enormous turnout. We had over 1,000 people. I think it was actually close to 1,100 people in the children's ministry throughout that weekend, and there were 170 first-time guests just within the children's ministry. An amazing weekend. This was by far one of the best weekends that I've seen here at Allison Park Church since I've been here. Great job with it. Here's a couple things to recognize here. Many of you were here multiple services, serving, and you weren't just serving in your one service. Many of you stayed extra. And for several weeks now, we as a team have been promoting and hyping this event and making it something that kids were really focused on inviting their friends. I was talking to a school teacher at Central Elementary, and he was like, "Hey, I don't know what happened, but all those big invitations that we had, they were all over my school." So not a really good thing that it's making a mess everywhere, but our kids were genuinely out there inviting all of their friends to come to the Easter egg hunt, the hunt for the golden egg. And that was a team effort. That's not just one person telling the kids to do that. We as a team came together and we encouraged all the kids to invite their friends. We helped them develop a plan to go after not just one friend, but their entire class. And as a result, we had one of our biggest weekends that we've ever had as a church, and by far the most guests that I've ever seen in the children's ministry, 170 guests, and over 1,100 people that week. Great job with that. I appreciate all the additional work that went into that. Just highlighting Pam Gauntner. She really she's one of our operations coordinators for Kids Zone, but she also coordinated the whole event and did an amazing job. It was such a fun experience. My son ended up taking home a 20-pound chocolate bunny, which we're still figuring out what we're going to do with. But overall, great experience. The kids that came had a blast. Pastor Sarah and I are going to spend the next couple of weeks really contacting those 170 kids and their families to try to get them to be connected here at the church, not just to come to an event. But thank you so much for all of your investment in that. It was a great experience. I loved the results of that. I loved how kids were genuinely excited, and I heard multiple people not just talk about the egg hunt. They talked about the experience in Kids Zone, where they were able to hear a clear gospel presentation. I've had at least 3, 4, 5 parents that came up to me and said, "Wow, this was such a good experience upstairs, not just downstairs." So great job with that. Love what's going on there. One thing that I want to talk about is I want to talk about a need for us to adopt the strategy to do 2 things. Very, very simple. First thing is, during Kids Zone, when we're interacting with kids, when we're interacting with families, I want everyone to learn to enjoy what we're doing. There's something powerful about having a good time when you're here in Kids Zone that becomes contagious. If we're having a blast when we're hanging out with kids and we're making it a fun experience, and we're just enjoying ourselves, the kids will naturally enjoy things too. I observed something this past weekend. So in the Saturday, the 4 o'clock service, we had 17 kids show up. I think maybe we had 20 by the end of the service. But when we started, there were 17 kids, and we didn't do things normally. We did something that changed it up a little bit that was just kind of off the wall and fun. We played Worship Four Corners. So as we were playing Four Corners, we also played worship music, and we had the kids doing the motions to the songs, and they were moving to each corner and getting situated the way that you normally play the game, but they did it while they were engaging in worship. And what I saw was I saw our volunteer team, our leaders, really engaging in that worship experience and having fun and being lighthearted and having a good time, and the kids did the same thing. That's a chain reaction that happens. When we're enjoying what we're doing, the kids also enjoy what they're doing. I love having a team of young teenagers that are still able to keep up with the energy and the choreography and all that good stuff that our kids need. Not have a bunch of old people like myself who can no longer do what I used to do. But I love having the young teenagers doing that. I love having each one of you on the team. It's so important that we keep things fresh, though, that we're still enjoying them, that we're enjoying our worship experience and every part of Kids Zone. So I want to encourage you to just have fun when you're engaged in the Kids Zone service. The second thing I want you to do is make sure you're smiling. Here's an example. I went to Chipotle for lunch today. I got my quesadilla, and the girl that was taking my order initially, man, she was miserable. I usually have phenomenal experiences at Chipotle, but let me tell you how I felt as she was just very very unhappy with life and taking my order, not making any eye contact. She wasn't smiling. She barely even listened to what my order was. I felt like, man, I'm not even sure if I should be here. I'm an inconvenience to her. And there's something that happens that's powerful in a negative way when we portray that to other people, when it looks like we're just going through the motions, or we're bored, or we're not having fun. It makes people think, man, I'm an inconvenience to what's going on here. But the opposite is also true. If we're having an incredible time, we're really excited, we're engaged, we're having fun. It makes everybody else want to be around us. It makes us other people want to have fun. So just a couple things to highlight. This is just kind of a funny thing. Andrew, I want you to know that I appreciate your intensity in worship this past weekend. For those of you that don't know, Andrew was worshiping on stage. He was he was dancing, and our stage was already developing some cracks in it. But Andrew's one of our most intense worshipers on stage. He's maybe rivaled by Maddie Krills. Sometimes I'm afraid that she's going to do the same thing that Andrew did. But he put his foot straight through the stage floor, and we're going to get that fixed this week. But the enthusiasm in worship is, it's awesome. It's something that I really want to see across the board, and we have so many people that do that. Not everybody puts their foot through the stage, but that enthusiasm is something that's contagious. And even Andrew's response after it happened, it just made it more fun and lighthearted. But make sure whatever you're doing, whether it's leading a small group, whether it's greeting at the door, pre-service stations, moonwalk, worshiping on stage, whatever it is, do it with everything that you have and enjoy yourself. As soon as you begin to enjoy yourself, it makes the entire experience more enjoyable for everybody else. So I appreciate you guys. Love what's happened over the last couple weeks. I want to continue to impact the lives, especially those 170 kids that came to Kid Zone for the very first time. And I think a big key part in that is us having fun, enjoying what we do, and smiling when we're in Kid Zone, because it creates a very welcoming experience. So let's be very intentional about doing that this week. It's going to be an awesome weekend. I'll see you guys soon.